Glossary in Forest Genetics and Tree Improvement. Acclimatization, the process by which plants increase their hardiness to outdoor conditions such as cold or drought. Adaptation, genetic, the genetic change of a population of trees whereby some individuals are selected relatively to other individuals due to higher fitness by the environment they are in, resulting in the future generations containing more of the genes of the more fit individuals. Adaptation lag, when genotypes are not optimally adapted genetically to the environment they are due to a change in the environment adapted individuals. Trees that through natural evolution or breeding and testing are capable of growth and reproduction in given environment. In forestry, this usually refers to the population of trees that have capability to grow, reproduce, and remain generally healthy in a given climatic environment. Adaptive gene action. Gene products combine to produce variation in trait in simple linear way. Adaptive genetic variation, the proportion of genetic variation that responds to the natural selection, mass selection, or pick the winner selection. Adventitious, meristem developing into buds, shooting, or roots in places not directly associated with apical meristem or out of the normal phylotactic pattern of the plant. Alleles at an alternative form of gene differing in DNA sequence and sometimes resulting in different phenotypic effects. Allopatric separated populations. Anemophilous, pollinated by wind-borne pollen. Artificial seed, analog to true zygotic seed that composed of somatic embryo encapsulated in a matrix that protects, feeds, and regulates it. Assisted population migration, the human assisted migration of genetic populations of a species to new areas that are within the species current natural range. Assortative mating, individuals similar or dissimilar to each are more likely to mate than if males were chosen at random. Base population, the set of trees from which the selections will be taken to form advanced generation breeding and or production population. Biodiversity, the variety and variability of living organisms in ecosystems of which they are part. Biogeography, the study of distribution of organisms in the earth and its factors that govern their distribution. Bioreactor, the vessel for modest to large scale liquid suspension culture of cells in which conditions are optimized for higher production levels. Then next is breeding, the science and art of changing the genetic constitution of population of plants or animals through controlled mating of individuals selected for traits interest. Breeding orchid, where controlled pollinations are made to produce the next generation. Breeding population, a group of selected parent trees that are intercrossed to form a breeding parents progeny test and average of its population. Broad sense heritability, the ratio of total genetic variance to phenotypic variance. Budding, a form of grafting in which shown bud and adjacent cambial tissue is inserted below the bark of the rootstock and secured there until the bud and the rootstock grow together. Callus, an organized tissue often initiating at the cut or cutting of an explant. Cell line, a culture that arises from individual explant. Chimera, an organism composed of genetically different tissues occurring adjacent to each other. Chronogenes, genes that are activated in a specific sequence. Climate-based seed transfer, a system for managing the transfer of reproductive material that is based on the matching of genetic populations with the climatic areas which they are optimally adapted for health and long-term growth. Clonal replication, a tool of genetic testing in which a given genotype is replicated across environment in time and space. Clone, a group of vegetatively propagated organisms consisting of an orchid and its ramets. Coancestry, relatedness between individuals due to common ancestors that which would result in breeding if the genotypes concerned mated and produced offspring. Combined testing, a clonal and family testing are combined in a single test or in a parallel. Competence, a development term referring to a cell's or tissue's ability to produce certain structures, organs, or even entire organisms. Cone induction. Induction, a conifer tree to produce female and male strobili through methods that are hormone state within the tree.